Hello, and thank you in advance for hearing me out. LTA has unfairly victimized my father. I have evidence suggesting that its black sheep have given irresponsible fines and remain blindly protected by LTA. Can we still trust LTA today? When I tried writing to them to explain how the traffic warden's irresponsibility victimized my father, they blindly supported the traffic warden and insisted that we were completely in the wrong, using stock answers to avoid any responsibility on themselves. Is it time to ask ourselves and the government whether LTA should still let its contractors fine freely and act like it owns the law? My father helped me by driving to Tampines Mall to meet me, but he ran into a problem. The official unloading area for goods shares an entrance with the drop-off point and car park, and there was no legal and safe way to turn into the mall's drop-off point to pick me up because of the long queue of lorries waiting to enter the full and congested unloading area. He called me about the traffic situation and said I would have to exit the mall from the drop-off point to find him instead, since he was in a queue that never moved. The drop-off point was free of charge, safe and convenient, but it was just impossible for my father to enter because of this perpetual congestion. He tried looking around for me and stood out to get a better view because his view was obstructed in the car, but when he got out of the car and stood on the pavement, the lorry in front of his car just finished unloading illegally and left the queue. At the same time, a traffic warden walked past and instantly came up with a camera after the lorry left. My father walked up to her immediately and politely explained that he was not parking, he has been queuing for ages, but the traffic warden started taking photos immediately and failed to even acknowledge my father's presence and existence and attempt to tell her that she has misunderstood the whole situation. He was 3 feet away, for God's sake. In fact, she kept taking more photos of his car as my father tried explaining it to her. The warden ignored his words and then walked to the roadside to stand on the pavement and chat with a colleague. For the subsequent 10 minutes, my father waited for her by the roadside for her to issue a parking ticket, but she failed to do so as well. Should we believe LTA? The traffic warden acted blind and deaf the moment she found one potential car to fine, and never appeared to care about anything else. If she did, she would have communicated with my father properly, and made sure that if what he was doing was wrong, and he deserved a fine, he should at least be told to vacate that spot. How can we still believe that LTA's traffic wardens are there for our benefit when they are just running around taking pictures of cars without trying to understand the situation on the road at the time? If this is not unreasonable, I don't know what is. Imagine if all traffic wardens went to every car park entrance with a queue and took a picture for every car that didn't move forward immediately when the queue moved. They could get countless pictures of drivers who theoretically so-called park illegally by their definition, although that is practically not the truth. This way they could easily frame another 10,000 drivers for illegal parking and still call their methods legally legitimate if they wanted. What uncontested power they possess. But this is what I think, and I hope you agree. A single picture taken without a reasonable time frame for reference and knowledge of the situation and the surroundings at the time is irresponsible law enforcement and unsubstantial evidence. How can we be accepting a single picture taken by LTA's contractors to be definitive, unquestionable proof of offense? It is perhaps time to even ask, how can their performance be monitored to ensure that they are working? And again, don't they naturally have a quota to fulfill? What happens then when there are fewer and fewer offenders at a certain time? Does innocent get picked? Is that what happened to us? So after interviewing a security guard,
Past 12, I'm very crowded. Sometimes you see one group of all the van lorry waiting to go in.
supermarket staff in the unloading bay,
It's not sure what time yeah, sometimes it can be very crowded.
and the man unloading his goods illegally,
从外面
没有，他一个来是两个人，
一个人，
一个人这样哦，你看他排队哦，排很久哦，是两个人，我下货，他跑别人间哦。
their answers were clear and unanimous. The road has been plagued by illegal unloading problems for many years because the unloading zone is undersized, perpetually overcrowded and expensive to use, causing a congestion around the shared entrance, so all other cars are unable to enter the drop-off point and the car park as well, and LTA has somehow been unable to actually fix the problem the entire time. By LTA's definition, yes, my father theoretically committed a traffic offense briefly because in the seconds while the photos were taken, he left the driver's seat while queuing with the intention of waving to me when he sees me, and later remaining outside the car to unsuccessfully attempt communication with the traffic warden. He was anxious because I had internal injury and bleeding, it was painful, and I was walking around with a heavy fuel pack, half lost looking for him in an area I've never been to. I would consider such a situation more or less an emergency. And practically, yeah, queuing is legal. Can LTA say that he was illegally parking for that specific moment just because urgent circumstances prevented him from moving his car immediately when the queue moved? Yeah, they have the right to say, and they have the right to say it blindly every time. But we just want to make it clear, his 6 sons' welfare was undoubtedly an emergency to him. And all he did, practically, was stand beside his car, looking after it, for less than a minute while no one was queuing behind him. It is completely unfair that motorists are expected to be perfect and move immediately with zero delay or risk being fined, when LTA has evidently also failed to find any effective solution for this congestion problem for years in the first place. They are the ones that indirectly caused all this. I am submitting a simple suggestion to try and permanently solve the problem as follows. What's happening now, you ask? After over half a year of emailing back and forth fruitlessly, LTA has demanded that my father go to court and pay the fine, so we went to our Meet the MP session and asked for help. The volunteers there helped us write to LTA again, and said that we have very strong reasons and evidence for the case, and they all support us, encouraging us by telling us that they have all gotten successful parking fine appeals before at some point, with reasons not even as strong as ours. This is about now, but this is also about the future. If someone wrote in to fix the problem a year ago, my family wouldn't have to be victimized. If I don't write it now, we can be pretty sure that every other month down the road, another poor motorist might have to deal with what we had to. I look forward to your comments, supportive or otherwise, and thank you for your time.